Welcome back to our last session for today's on the introduction to leadership training. And we try to look on the difference between a CEO and a leader, a director and a leader, a manager and a leader, a supervisor and a leader. They're different. You may be a CEO, but you're not a leader. You may be a member of parliament, but you're not a leader. You may be even a minister, but you're not a leader. You may be a church leader, a church we call maybe a pastor, a deacon, but you're not a leader. Because leadership is not about a word. It's not about synonym to, but it's about qualities in you that makes you to be a leader. So our next subject is to distinguish between a leader and a manager, to understand whether really through this training you want to be a manager or a leader, because they are different things. Now, you may be a CEO, but not necessarily a leader. You may be a manager, but not necessarily a leader. So what are the things that embed on you that makes you to be a leader? There is a CEO who comes to an organization and say, yes, we have got a leader this time around. There is a person who becomes a president and you say, yes, we have got a leader today. You go to some families, you see a father, you say, this is a leader. Not only a father, but also is a leader. You go to a church, you say, this is not only a pastor, but is a leader. Because of some embedded. And therefore, let's try to look deep and see the difference between a leader and a manager, a leader and a CEO, a leader and a director, a leader and a religious manager. Leadership and management, they're the same, the notions trying to describe related concepts. They're just notions which are within the same concept, the total concept. It's just the same. Managers do things right. Leaders do the right things. Managers do things right. Managers do things right. A director does the thing right. A CEO does the thing right. But a leader do the right things. A leader do the right things. So a manager is just a matter of complying to rules and regulations. And I can assure you, managers have never brought any transformation in this world. Leaders have brought transformation. If the procurement laws say about maybe to find 3 quotations, a manager will find 3 quotations, even if the quotation is good, they are more than the market values of the things you want to purchase. A manager will go on and purchase and says complied to rules and regulations. But a leader will question, because a leader does the right things. But a manager do the things right. A manager do the things right. A leader does the right things. Leadership can be defined in terms of position as being a leadership position. But occupying a leadership position like a director or a manager or a member of parliament or a minister is very different from becoming an effective leader for the position. Leadership can be defined in terms of position as being a leadership position. Like in this country, we have got leadership position, but we don't have leaders somewhere. I'm not putting generalization. Perhaps we've got leaders somewhere, but also we've got a lot of people who are in those positions, but they're not leaders. They're just managers. So occupying leadership position is very different from being an effective leader in that position. We shall see why. As you remember my question, I still want to ask you, do you want to be a leader or a manager? If you want to be a manager, then this course is not suitable for you. But if you want to be a leader, then becoming a manager or a director or a CEO is just another advantage because you're already a leader. So principal aim of a manager is to maximize output of the organization, output of the family, output of everything through administrative implementation, by organizing, by planning, by controlling, and by directing. The aim of a manager is to maximize the output through administrative implementation, by organizing, by planning, by controlling, and directing. So only one component of the manager that is directing, that is intertwined to the leadership now. Because directing is an important component and functioning of the leader. A manager must be a manager, but also should be a leader. A manager needs formal authority to be effective. But a leader does not necessarily need a formal authority to become effective. In a small groups, it is not top manager who emerged as the actual leader. In many cases, it's subordinate member with the specific talents who leads the group in a certain direction. Groups might be often loyal to a leader than a manager. Leaders are observant and sensitive to people. They know their subordinates and they develop mutual confidence with the team. A leader, a distinguished quality of a leader is ability to motivate others. So there is a difference between leadership skills and management skills. Leadership and management have some aspects in common, but to develop into best leaders you need to understand how they are different. Because even any person, even a dog, can be a leader, can be a manager. Because you need to implement the rules and regulation. That's why a robot can become a manager. But a leader, it requires certain insight concerning the human relationship. Ability to motivate your team, that's core. Ability to build the confidence of your team on you is core. Ability to help the team to become who they are is core to leadership. So management skills are skills required to manage resources, to deliver the task, product, or service. It's about resource management. But leadership, these are the skills required for the people. Now, there's a challenge you are getting if you have gone through the formal training, whereby you are taught about becoming a manager of resource, and you fail to manage people. You need to be able to engage and motivate people and persuade them to buy into your vision, objective, or goal. That's leadership. But a manager is just a skill that you need to have to manage resource so that you may deliver the product, output, or service. That's why there are people it's not a good thing to put them into a certain leadership position, because there are two managers. They are not people-oriented. Now, being people-oriented does not mean that you are not strict, you are not smart. No, but you need to understand what motivates people. How do you persuade the people under you? How do you persuade the team to achieve the best they could be? How do you help others to become who they are? That's the leadership skills. During my first years of becoming a leader, I thought I'm a leader. But typically I was a manager. I was trying to be the best to manage resource in order to deliver a task, product, or service. And many times I had a lot of burnouts. But after understanding that I need some skills in leadership, That is ability to engage people. Sometimes you need to talk to your subordinate to make them comfortable. Just by sharing them about their family, about whatever they're going through with, it makes a lot of difference for their contribution to the organization. Just by congratulating them for whatsoever small or big they've done, it makes a difference. We manage tasks, we lead people. We manage tasks, we lead people. So a manager always have a short-term thinking because you need to complete a task. A leader sees a vision, a big picture. A manager thinks tactically. A leader think about a strategy. A manager as a plan shows how and when, but a leader as a plan that shows what and why. A manager looks at the bottom line, but a leader looks on the horizon. A manager knows a day-to-day business. A leader knows a customer. A manager focuses on improving existing services or product. A leader focuses on new product and the breakthroughs on processes. A manager builds success through quality. A leader builds success through employees. A manager supervises. A leader influences. A manager gains authority from his or her position, but a leader gains authority by his mindset and behavior. So there is a difference between a leader and a manager. Let's have some time to digest a bit, food for thought. Consider your workplace or business, where you work, or even at your home, at your family. Do you see a manager? Who is a manager? Do you see a leader? How can you tell the difference? Think about the organization you're working. Think about the college you're studying. Think about a family, a home, which you are living, maybe if you've got a family already. Based on those qualities, can you see a leader? Can you see a manager? The day I knew that to be a leader, you need to be able to lead people and not to manage tasks, it transformed my thinking. In some cases, to answer, the answer is obvious, because a manager, you can look on them, director so-and-so, manager so-and-so, IT manager, director of so-and-so, director of procurement. It shows authority. But can you see a leader? And by this, I mean a person can be both a manager and a leader. But you can see this one is a manager and this one is a leader. Maybe can you draw up an organization chart to the third level and see who is a leader and who is a manager? I remember Einstein sometimes said, stay away from negative people. Stay away from negative people. They have problem for every solution. Albert Einstein. Stay away from negative people. They have problem for every solution. Most of managers, they have problem to every solution, but a leader has solution to every problem, because it depends on the team. It depends on others to achieve the best on the leadership role is playing. So it's different. That's make a very clear difference between a leader and a manager. Effective leaders are those who can successfully influence the way other people influence themselves. The common way to communicate the leadership is through organization chart. But most of people in the organization chart are not leaders. They are not fit for the purpose. They need to be trained and retrained to become really a leader. A leader should learn the art of persuasion and negotiation. I repeat, a leader should learn the art of persuasion and negotiation. So that makes an end to our 3 sessions of today. And we shall meet again in next session, where we're going to learn about the art of persuasion and negotiation. Ability of the leader to influence a strategy. Ability of a leader to influence a strategy. What the art that you need to have to persuade and negotiate goes through people. I thank you very much for attending today's session. Just to recap with some few words today of what we covered. We are looking on the objective of the training. We say that the aim of this training is to build up your leadership skills, is to give you the tools and tips, practical tools and tips, so that you may start applying soon after this training, but also to give some practical insights on improvement on your leadership abilities, so that you may be able to see those around you and respond according to the base of knowledge you have. We discussed what's leadership, and we say that is the ability to leverage power and influence others to achieve the goals and objectives. We discussed about some qualities of a leader, or what are the leadership skills, and we said those are the tools, behavior, and capabilities which you need to have. You need to have a toolbox which you're going to train you about. That makes you to become as successful in motivating and directing others, and make them to grow, but also to help others to become the best of whom they are. We answered the question whether leaders are born or are made. We said both. But typically, because of the qualities of leaders like Mwalimu Nyerere, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, like commitment to vision, understanding who they are, integrity, living by example, motivate others, effective communication, willingness to take risk, and problem-solving skills. So those are the things you can learn and become the best leader of whom you can be. However, it requires open mind, requires patience, and requires commitment. We look now on the qualities of the successful leaders, but we said also about the traits of leadership. 3 major traits of leadership. Number 1 is desire to lead. Number 2, commitment to vision and mission. And number 3 is integrity. And then we looked on 8 qualities of a leader, including effective communication, including confidence, fairness, honest, commitment, inspiring, humility, humble, and positivity. We also looked on the key or supreme leadership quality, and we say that is integrity. And we say integrity is expressed in 3 areas, or cover 3 areas. Number 1 is integrity is about sincerity. Integrity is about consistency, and integrity is about substance. The question we asked is, are you a leader? List some qualities you have among those 8 qualities, or not. Further, we looked on the difference between a director, a CEO, a manager, and a leader. And we say occupying a position of leadership is not necessarily a leader. You may just be a manager. And we say the distinguished feature is managers do the things right, but leaders do the right things. Managers do the things right, but leaders do the right things. We said Management is about organizing, planning, controlling, directing. Now, on directing as well, you need to have leadership skills. And we say that many times, people are loyal to a leader than a manager. When a manager goes out of the organization or office, people will do what they want to do. But when a leader is there, they will be motivated to follow him. We say that we manage tasks and we lead people. So management skills are the skills to manage resources. Leadership skills are the skills to manage, to motivate and persuade people. Now, let me finish or conclude this by putting it very clear. Resources and people are important function in the organization. So when you say that you need to have leadership skill, does not mean that you don't need to have management skills. They're important because you need to manage resources. Leadership skills cannot help you to manage resources. So they need to be embedded. Notwithstanding, management skills alone cannot bring you far in achievement of organizational objectives. And you've got a lot of managers. The common way to communicate leadership is through organization chart. But unfortunately, most of those people in the boxes, they're not leaders. They're not suitable for leadership position. They're managers. Effective leaders are those who can successfully influence the way people influence themselves to become the better themselves. So I appreciate for your time and engagement this day. Wishing you a very good day. Let's meet again next week, Saturday, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. I'm Reverend Dr. Sako Merrick, a facilitator to this program. And next session, we'll be talking about persuasion, and negotiation techniques. I'm working under the auspice of Institute of Management Consultants, Tanzania, in the Leadership and Consulting Skills Certification Program. After 4 weeks of leadership, we're going to start the consulting skills, both internal consulting and external consulting. But since we are still on a third week of the leadership training skills, we'll talk about persuasion and negotiation techniques in our next session. Thank you very much for your time and keeping your ear on this training. Please leave comments, suggestions, so that we may put better programs. Till next time, bye.